All right, what's up, everybody? Back with the Geissele 14.5. Did a video on this a couple weeks back that I had to send it back. It was an unfired upper that I purchased during one of their sales earlier this year. It was confirmed by Geissele that the upper was out of spec, so they rebuilt the upper. Took about 2.5 weeks. Everything's good. Shot it yesterday, and everything is a-okay. I had another 14.5 black Super Duty upper that the pin and weld snapped as well. Sent that back, got that back already. Everything works just as it should. So good stuff. Big ups to Geissele for taking care of the issues in a timely fashion. Don't get discouraged on that if you think, you know, what the heck, I got something that's out of spec by this company. Nothing's perfect. You're gonna get out of spec stuff from all different types of companies. They're gonna have a run of just out of spec shit every once in a while. So when you're searching for a rifle company, you know, make sure you identify, hey, do they have a good warranty, good customer service? Are they well known? Things like that. Obviously that comes in handy as well. So wanted to talk about that, and then just a couple of different things here. Primarily I use my rifles long distance or mid distance, using scopes anywhere from 3 to 15 to 1 to 8s, 1 to 10s, LPVOs. Wanted to make something a little bit more urbanish if, you know, God forbid I need something like that. But I wanted to go through and see how much faster a red dot was than using LPVO as a red dot. I know YouTube has that covered a million times. I won't go too far into it. I'm just gonna talk about my experiences and how I feel with it. Because I think it's important to identify it for yourself, and then, you know, see if it holds up. So you know, first I started with the ADM with the red dot, just doing 2 pair drills, then switched over to the Geissele with the LPVO. So a couple things that I noticed initially: picking up the ADM and just starting that drill, yeah, fast, didn't have to think about it. Picking up the Geissele, you had to focus through that 1X because you do have some kind of distortion through 1X out of every scope. I don't care what kind of scope it is. So your eye has to adjust to that. So that took maybe, I don't know, maybe a magazine's worth. But once you get past that, i.e. if you have enough training, I think this is a better option. I think it's a better option because you have a larger envelope of flexibility. Long, mid, and close, all wrapped up in one package. I don't have to put a dot on top of this to use them as my 1X because the reticle and the brightness of the illumination is perfect in terms of red dot use. It's just going to be you getting used to looking through a tube versus a small red dot. And I don't think that's a very big issue, especially if you have a higher quality LPVO to do so. So if you're using something like a Trijicon, you know, 1 to 10, which I would not advise, even though it's good LPVO, would not advise to use it in that kind of fashion. Now, yes, some opportunities where there's groups and people doing that with certain scopes like that, I'm sure there are. I'm not a professional shooter. I don't have time to do it every single day of my life. I don't get paid for it. So I need something that's going to be quick, I can adjust to, and I think this is going to be it. So the NX8 with the DMX reticle is really, really nice. When you need to do something close, you turn that illumination on, and that thing is red dot bright. The reticle gets small enough where it's just like a red dot. There's nothing really in the way. There's nothing blocking any kind of view. It's not too busy of a reticle, and I think it makes it a really good served purpose for that. So I'm going to continue using the LPVO, training with it, and just seeing if it fits for me. And I think everyone should do that. I think they should try different things and see if it works for them, versus just seeing something on a YouTube video and saying, hey, this is how I'm going to build it. Get out there and practice and try, change things up, and find what kind of fits for you. But also, you know, be ears. And what I mean by that is use your ears and listen to what people tell you in terms of feedback, because it's going to help you. You know, you don't know everything. So overall, again, going back to the transition from the red dots to the LPVO, yeah, the red dot's probably a little bit faster, but I can get more flexibility out of a optic like this, and I don't think I'm losing much at all compared to the red dot if you have got enough time behind that. Could I achieve the same thing with a super budget LPVO? No, I mean, you probably could, not as well. I wouldn't even waste your money on that. Save up, get something a little bit better. Second topic I want to talk about was how did it feel in terms of recoil impulse. Obviously 223, 556 all kind of feels the same, but the impulse from the gassing to the carrier to the buffer, was there any kind of differences with that? Yes. The Geissele was a softer, felt like a just a piston back and forth, really smooth. The suppressor probably aided in that a lot, with this being a flow through. It's Hux 556K. The EDM had an RC2. Slow it down a little bit. 45-degree safety definitely helps with the switching the fire, manipulating. Okay, so not flow through. It's definitely getting a lot of gas blowback with that. Felt it in my face. Where the RC2 was, you didn't notice it was on the gun, which is pretty neat. The sound, yeah, it's probably a little bit better of a sound on the RC2. But definitely get the feel for it. I'm liking that now. But it's not something that's, a huge deal. Second from that, the ADM felt a little bit looser, kind of like a hot rod, looser around the corners, faster on the straightaways, really fun to use, really fun. To shoot, but in terms of just a well-oiled piston, I would say the Geissele definitely outshot the ADM in that category. So, and I kind of understood that that's probably going to happen anyway. But for those of you that was wondering, that would be my take on that. Now the EDM, I don't have it out here with me right now, but I do believe I'm getting a little bit of a gas leak on the journal, or in the gas key there. Is it a huge deal? Maybe eventually. Right now I'm just keeping my eye on it. Maybe I'll send it back, shoot them some photos, see what they do with it. But I have about probably now close to 5,000 rounds on that ADM. And I don't think that's a common thing. But again, it's something to just keep my eye on and see what happens with that. But overall, it was a really fun day to just get out and just shoot some pairs back to back, instead of the usual 100 150 yards, 200 yard shooting. I think it's not to get too into the weeds of what could or could not be going on at any given time, but I think it's a good idea to have something appropriate that might help you in a certain situation. Having a red dot on a rifle is definitely something that's going to be light and quick. Could be useful in a house scenario, truck scenario, something like that. Something with an LPVO, I probably wouldn't use at night in a house, God forbid, if you had to. Too much to focus on, too much to make your eye kind of focus on. I think a red dot would probably be a little bit easier. anything outside of that box, I think this LPVO, not all LPVOs, but this LPVO does it really, really well, far medium and close range. And I don't have to have a bunch of shit hanging off my rifle too. Nothing at a 45, nothing at a 10 in terms of offset red dots. Could that even be faster? Yeah, I mean, maybe, but then you're changing your cheek weld and your direction on the stock, and maybe that's something I have to try to see if if it fits for me. But so far, how this is, I really enjoy it. You can really use this as a red dot when needed, and I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed with this LPVO. I did not expect this to be that versatile, and it really is. So good stuff there. So again, kind of just touching back, the recoil impulse was very smooth, and I would say was better than the ADM, okay, on this Geissele. All right, this is a 14.5, so good stuff there. Suppressor use was when running the drill. The Huxworks had a wrap. I'll just start with that right now. We had a wrap from Armageddon gear. This is their high heat wrap. So again, focus there. And this thing melted right to the can. So you can tell the can has changed colors. I don't know if it's showing up very well, but it's almost black now. Which you will get color distortion on something like that, no matter what, but this is a little bit more heavy, and this is hard. This is like stiff as hell. Like not even worn in, but like I really had to break this in after taking this off. It is melted on the inside. You guys probably can't see on the ends from here, which you do get a little bit of charring, which is, you know, kind of normal, but this is very burnt, very melted. And then on the exterior, my cables, my cords actually melted to the wrap as well. Okay, so I'll contact this company, see what is that all about. I will hold off on buying any other product from them, seeing that this is their high heat wrap, and this is what happens. So got to figure that out before I buy any more products. Maybe I'll tag them in this video. Maybe they can help out and, you know, give me some direction on what happened. All right, so RC2 on the ADM was getting a ton of gas blowback, obviously. But again, I'm talking about this because normally my shooting is done in prone when I'm shooting distance. I'm usually not shooting any kind of drill standing up. So this is all new things for me to work through and train through and experience. So the Huxworks had no gas blowback, obviously because of the flow through. Much more pleasant, a lot lighter. I think it's lighter by about 4 to 5 ounces than the RC2, so the balance was very good as well. With that balance, the setup of the stock that I mentioned, the BCM that I added, very good cheek placement, fits the fold of the shoulder and chest area very nicely. And then second from there, your correct placement. So you have that repeatable eye placement and eye relief, and then the height of the mount as well. This is a 1.7 from, let's see, Reptilia. That's right, Reptilia. So really impressed. I'll continue to do some additional drills and that such, and you know, maybe I'll make a series of just getting into like more of an urban fighting rifle and things like that. But if you guys want to see anything else, let me know. I will add in some clips as well. You guys will see that within the video if you haven't already. Give me a comment, give me a like. Appreciate you guys. See you next time.